Hey, good morning, BFTers. Welcome to our 11th Hangout on a very timely topic for the Bahamas, bullying and discrimination against the LGBTQ community. And from the forums we have in the group discussions, we know that we have members who've been deeply affected by this and who've experienced this. So we thought it would be sort of good to address this topic. And today we have one of our members, again, guest moderating, Rayne Heastie, and she's going to be leading this discussion with our panelists, and I'm going to let these guys take it from here. So enjoy the discussion. I posted a link to the video and a thread for people to post their questions and comments, and we look forward to hearing from you. You can take it from here, Rayne.
Excellent. Thank you, Kendra. So, my name is Rayne. Most of you may be familiar with me from commenting on various stories or posts within the group. So, I'm going to be guest moderating today because I am a member of the LGBTQ as a lesbian. And this topic is one that's obviously very close to me, very passionate about it. I also have a panel of individuals as well, who I'll allow to introduce themselves. Probably they can do it better than I can. So we have Alexis DeMarco and we have Natalia Gonzalez. And I'm going to basically turn it over to them now to tell you a little bit about themselves and what exactly they hope to achieve um, with this discussion. So I guess we'll start off with you, Alexis.
My name is Alexis DeMarco. I live currently in the Bahamas. Today, I hope to teach and bring information and knowledge on bullying in schools, workplaces, against LGBTQIA individuals. And let's try to come up with some solutions to help you.
Alexis, you're kind of cutting out. I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It just goes in and out.
Okay. Well, let me just reintroduce. My name is Alexis DeMarco. I'm a Bahamian transgender woman. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Today, I hope to bring information as far as awareness against bullying from LGBTQ individuals in the workplace, schools, wherever they may be. So, come up with some solutions to assist people.
Okay, so Alexis, you kind of cut out in the middle there, but from what I was able to gather is that you are a member of the LGBT community as a transgendered woman, and you're hoping to discuss bullying, especially bullying in the workplace, and how exactly we can find solutions to this huge problem in our community. Did I get it right?
That's correct.
Excellent, thank you. I don't know if maybe you need to pull it a little bit closer, but for some reason it cuts in and out, or it may just be your internet connection. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Natalia, you can take it over now.
I'm Natalia. I think I'm pretty visible in the group, so everybody that's watching probably knows me by now. Um, I live now in the Netherlands, but I grew up in the Bahamas for the significant part of my teenage years. So that's really home for me. And this topic is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I do identify as pansexual, only since recently because I didn't know that there was a definition for that. Since before that, I thought it was just bisexual because that's as open as I thought it could get. Um, I don't really say it very much because I've been with Anthony for over 7 years now. So I feel like it would just create drama, and I don't feel like as a society we're there yet to sort of put everything out there without any repercussion just yet. Um, but yeah, this is one of the reasons why it's so close to my heart and why I feel like I can speak about it, and why the effect of like getting a solution is very important to me. Um, and also because Bahamas is home. So I know that we still have a long way to go as far as LGBTQ rights and LGBTQ awareness and how we're treated in the country.
Okay, excellent. We also have Kyle, who is going to be joining us soon as he gets beyond his technical difficulties. So hopefully that is going to be within the next few minutes or so, but he's just going to jump right on in, and we'll probably take a little pause to basically give him a few moments to introduce himself. But he's also been one of the persons who comments, I would say, frequently in BFT, so you guys may be familiar with him. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to be basically posing the questions to the panelists, and then we'll get their ideas on how exactly they feel that this issue is affecting the Bahamas. I'm also going to be contributing somewhat, saying that I do have views on this issue as well. So, what do you believe are the most prominent issues in terms of bullying and discrimination facing the Bahamian LGBTQ community today?
Well, I think one of the most prominent issues, that they face is bullying, and it's based upon just who they are. For example, being a lesbian, being a gay male, being a bisexual individual. They are bullied just by comments. Oh, you pretty boy, or you pretty gal, or you go with man and woman. You understand? These things in the workplace, people be like, man, especially for a lesbian woman, has a lot of bullying going on with her, especially if the guy that's of lesbian character. You'd be like, man, why you don't give me some of that, man? You go with women, that's why So that's a form of bullying. Also for the male, for a male on the job, it's like, okay, you just keep calling them, just keep calling them, you gay, you batty man, and stuff like those are forms of bullying. And I think on the workplace, there needs to be policies and procedures in place to protect these individuals, not just LGBT, but all persons on the workplace from this type of bullying, especially in the work.
I think part of the problem in the Bahamas, uh, for LGBTQ members, it's compounded because in the Bahamas it's very difficult to be different, period. It's sort of like you have to fit into this mold of like the church-going, country-loving Bahamian. And there's a certain expectation of what's good and what's not good. And anytime you go outside of that boundary, you're sort of like a black sheep or you're somebody to jeer at. And even without sexuality included, just being different is enough to put a target on you. And then you go and you are a part of the LGBTQ community. So not only are you different, but now it's a sin. Now it's against the church. Now it's against the country. Why would you choose to do that? And then if you choose to do that, then you deserve our insult even more. And in the workplace, I have not experienced it, but just from observing the culture as how it plays out in everyday life, I can't imagine that the workplace would be even worse because now this is your means of sustenance. It's not like you exactly can talk back to your boss or anybody who's calling you names and start an altercation and defend yourself, because then you don't have food to eat, a place to live. So I can imagine all of the issues compounding even more at this level.
Agreed, 100%. Alexis, you touched on something that I never really gave much consideration to in terms of bullying coming in different forms. So, for example, you said that for lesbians, a form of bullying could be where you have males approaching them saying, well, maybe you're not sure because you haven't really tried it with a man and things like that. And you're absolutely correct because this happens every day. I can vouch for it, but I never really thought of it like bullying. It was just an annoyance, really. But like you said, it definitely is bullying. What are some of the ways that you think that members of the community can basically combat this bullying, and how exactly should we address it when persons approach us and say things like that?
Well, I think first of all, policy and procedures need to be put in place, but you have to demand those policies. Most offices in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas do have a harassment clause in their contract. However, it's not followed because persons don't come forward or see it as a form of sexual harassment, which is considered also bullying. The thing about it is that most women don't take control of their own lives. They wait for others to take control of their lives. But as an LGBT community moving forward in the Commonwealth, we have to be able to demand certain things, especially in the workplace. So most persons aren't even comfortable being who they are in the Bahamas as an LGBT person. So we have a lot of work to do, especially for me to stand up for somebody of LGBT nature and they're not standing up for themselves on the workplace. It's going to be kind of difficult for them to come out and say, this is who I am, in order for these policies and procedures. But on the whole, the workplace, I mean, just walking downtown or something like that, a person can believe you if they know who you are. But specifically for the workplace and school, I think policy is the only way that we can control this topic. In black and white, Dr. McKinney.
Um, I agree that policy is necessary, but how much do you think that will actually have an effect, considering that there's so many policies and laws and rules in place in the Bahamas on any given topic, and we're sort of a pirate country. We don't really give a shit about rules. And can you imagine the situation? I can believe that it's between a rock and a hard place, but then we have to, I think, change the mentality of the society as a whole before anything will really change, because rules are just that, rules, and like you said, they're not really enforced in the Bahamas in any form. I mean, there's so many workplaces, there's so many institutions where you go and say, well, this is supposed to happen, and they're like, yeah, well, it's not happening, what are you going to do about it? you know it's more, the problem is more endemic, and it stems from, I think, misinformation, but without dealing with the actual cause of the bullying, cause of the targeting, the rules changing will have no effect, because then it's just gonna be another thing where, like, oh, you think you're special, huh? And it's gonna be another thing to get bullied. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Well, I'll respond to you. I think you're correct. Most of the Bahamas totally don't agree with policy. But there's something called paperclip. At the end of the day, if you document every time that you brought this type of form of behavior to a supervisor or to someone, and they do nothing about it, it's no paper trail. It's always someone higher than you. So there are protections and there are things in place for us. But like I said again, we as LGBT individuals don't want to be identified as LGBT in our workplaces, in our schools, wherever we are. We have our own complexities in the Bahamas as far as coming out as who we are. So people don't respect you if you say I'm LGBTQ or I'm LGBTI, and it's a fear that a lot of people have, especially the coming out process is very, very difficult. But like I said, in response to what you're saying, there's something called paper trail. And I think if we start protecting ourselves and protecting each other, things would be much better as far as LGBT persons who are being bullied in the workplace, you know. So we can start a peer buddy program telling somebody what happened to them. Documentation is always key. So when you want to go back to that documentation, you have something to stand on when you say, hey, this has been happening to me. You all did nothing about this.
Okay, I'm gonna take a short break right now. Kyle, are you ready? Are you here?
Yeah, just 1 second. I think I'm gonna try a different browser.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps.
Okay, well, we can hear you, we just can't see you.
Yeah, I actually have the video off, so can you guys see my icon, my profile picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see your icon. Okay, so are you gonna give it a try on another browser, or are you gonna stay?
I'm going to give it a try another browser, so we'll also have the video.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. So when you come back, then we can let you do your introduction.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So back to you, Alexis and Natalia. You brought up an excellent point in regards to what do we do when we report the cases of harassment and either they're not taken seriously or we actually face more bullying as a result. Now,
Can I just pause for a second?
yeah.
I want to say that I don't think bullying is the right word to use at this point, because at this point, if it's in the workplace and this is what we're discussing, it's absolute harassment. I don't think bullying takes it seriously enough, the things that are happening to somebody in their workplace, in their adult life.
Okay, definitely. So harassment. In these cases where you have harassment in the workplace. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Hi, can you guys hear me on the laptop?
I guess it's kind of like an echo, so you probably have to close out the other browser. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, we lost Natalia, but I'm sure she's going to be back in a few seconds. But hello, I'm Rayne. We have Alexis.
Hi, Rayne.
And Natalia is going to join us. So you can introduce yourself. Definitely start off with the pronunciation of your name.
All right. My name is Khalil. A lot of people pronounce it Khalil, but my mom decided to make it special by making the L silent. I'm 23 as of October 28th. I don't know. Anything else you want to know? Or... I identify as somewhere. I'm somewhere like in a gray area on the spectrum. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just getting a lot of static.
Okay, so are you going to continue?
That was my introduction. I'm not sure. Like, can we? What?
It's fine if
There
that's
she is.
all.
Okay. Hi, Natalia.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been aware of my identity for about, let me see, well, just about shortly after high school, because after you get out of high school, you have more room to explore yourself.
Right.
Then, as far as being out, like maybe about to very close friends, maybe about 3 years. Lately, since with my for like the past year or so, I've been trying to be more open in general in terms of work, um, like socializing. I mean, still not to my family as yet. Not to all of my families yet. It's not my mom.
Okay. All right. Nice to meet you. We're live, so everybody would have met you via this as well. We were just discussing harassment in the workplace, how it affects us, the forms that it comes in, and what we can do to basically address these issues. when faced with that. I don't know if you want to jump in and give your opinion on that. If you've ever experienced harassment, we haven't really touched on if anybody has actually experienced it, just in general. What are your views on prominent issues that are facing the LGBT inside and
Yeah.
outside of?
Yeah, I definitely have some experience in terms of discrimination in the workforce, especially like in the past year or so. I was, it was Bahamas LEI training, and it was like it was about a few weeks in when I basically told someone, because uh, I'm straight passing, so like I get advancements from girls on the job, and that'd be awkward, and so like I wasn't comfortable with coming up with a million lies as to why I can't do this or I won't do that or this or that. So yeah, eventually I was just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen because I'm not interested in that way. Um, so I was actually quite surprised at how well my my coworkers took it, because they had gotten a chance to know me before they knew about that particular aspect. So most of their first impressions and most of their opinions of me were already, I think, I had more time to set, because prior, if they had only known me as that before, then they probably never bothered getting to know me, because it's like there's like I'd have been like the mythical other. It's easy to um, like vilify someone you don't know. Uh, once they did find out, a lot of them were just like, oh, you know what? You can do what you want. They never really got. They were still ignorant in a sense, and that they never really wrapped their head around it wasn't a choice, but they still respected it. They respected my life, basically. Some of them.
I have a question about that, Khalil. Do you think that being it Bahamas, so an international company, made a difference into the reaction in the workplace? Do you think that you might have had the same experience, let's say, if you were working for a mom and pop store in downtown Nassau somewhere and your coworkers found out that you are other?
No, I don't think I would have gotten the same reaction. In fact, I don't think I would have gotten the job, really. Uh, like, people tend to associate like out there fashions with homosexuality and stuff like that. I have natural hair, so I walk in the room and I walk in the room, I walk on the interview, and people are already giving me attitude. Like one interviewer made some snide remark about my hair. I think he said something like some comparison to Prince or something like that, and I tried to laugh it off, but like at that point I knew that that interview was done, and that I didn't want to work there anyway. Like a lot of people don't like, because people are associating people are so homophobic that they're associating any kind of variation in terms of looks or demeanor with that. They're just gonna start discriminating based on whether you are or you're not. They're gonna start discriminating based on their perception of your masculinity.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that's something that we've seen a lot publicly in the media. The effect that the perception, what the public has on you, has on even your career itself. I mean, we've seen what's happened with Fred Mitchell on the perception that he might be gay, and if he is and isn't, that's his business and nobody else. But he gets so much backlash just on the possibility that he might be, or that they perceive that he is because of whatever reason. So I can imagine that with a public figure and in such a public forum, the way that it's done, I can't imagine it being any different in a private setting for one job interview and nobody else is looking.
I agree to a point in that really it depends on the organization that you're interviewing with. So, for example, you're interviewing for a government position, you realize that you have to be, based on how the society is, you have to be a little bit more positive than if you're working for a progressive organization. Actually, it's kind of like Bahamas, for example. I work there. Um, I have been out since I got there, and nobody has had an issue with it. As a matter of fact, I work with people that are out as well. We have a pretty healthy, I would say, open, sexual workforce, more or less. Um, so I can definitely agree with the fact that some organizations are more accepting of it, whereas when I work at a bank, they still don't know, and I probably would not tell them because they were very conservative, very protective, things like that. Whereas at Bahamas, nobody is that overly religious. Nobody got so religious. So, Alexis, what has been your experience in regards to harassment and discrimination in the workplace? Have you ever experienced it? How did you address it? Did you report it? Process.
Well, for me, I personally have never experienced um, bullying or harassment on the workplace. Um, I think the most I would get, most thing I would get is like the looks and stares, and because people know my mouth, so they'd be like, okay, we can do her because she don't answer us back or something like that. So I think I use a protection as far as when it comes to individuals like making create my little boundary. So if they are to say something, I never heard it personally. But people come and say, "Oh, we know you're transgender X, Y, Z." But as far as personal experience, now in school, growing up in school, I've been bullied as far as growing up in school. So the fact that where boys would be like, "Oh, this is a woman X, Y, Z," maybe stuff like that, calling you out of your name and stuff like that. And in school, how I dealt with that was I sat them down and I said to them, I was like, well, this is what it is. This is who I am. And you're going to take me in front of you or not. So basically, bullying for me happened in school. And the thing about it is, growing up in the 90s is kind of different because you didn't have all these programs and organizations or information available about bullying. And your mommy said if somebody fights you, you slap the hell back out of them and you fight them back. So it was more of a defense mechanism, like, okay, if any boy messes me, I'm gonna have to beat them or something like that. So in school, it was more of a situation of protecting yourself and defending yourself. And there was no outreach. There was no one you could say, well, you have to say, you go to the principal or you go tell somebody. Then they really, oh, you bratting or you X stuff like that. So I think now that the Bahamas is changed and policies are in place in schools, especially for children who are being bullied, you believe that you can go to a guidance counselor, you can go to a teacher, you can tell them, hey, this is what's happening to me. But as when it comes to LGBTQ, that's not in place because there are no guidance counselors there who are going to say, oh, so you assisting, they have their mindset is not to the point of protecting LGBTQ. And I think that's where policy with the Ministry of Education and other social networks, Ministry of Health, people need to become in psychologists, doctors, and we need to create something in school to protect themselves. Right. So for bullying, to me, that's where it happened. That's why it's so touching to me because it happened to me.
Okay. Have you ever experienced harassment outside of the workplace, even in your day-to-day life? Um, Especially in terms of when you had, I guess, first started to transition. Um, what were the reactions like from family or friends? Did you have a great support system, or how did that how did their reactions affect you,
Well,
if at all?
in my transition, when I graduated high school, I left the Bahamas and I went to the United States. And in the United States, I had a great support system. I had doctors. I had a team of friends. Who I in the 90s, you didn't I didn't understand who I was. I was in a searching process. I couldn't say, well, am I a gay? I knew I wasn't gay, and I said I'm a girl. I knew I was different. I knew, okay, I don't want to be on this boys line. I'm supposed to be on this girls line. So I was in the process of searching. When I left the Bahamas back in the 90s, I was able to go to doctors and stuff like that to find out exactly who I was. When I came back, people really didn't recognize who I was because I was gone for a period of time. So my face has not changed. So when a person sees me, they'll be like, oh, okay, okay, that's who that is. And to them, they know, okay, this has always been me. My character has not changed, you know? I mean, for them, it's more of a situation of, okay, did she cut it off? Is it there? She has breasts now? She's like, well, what's going on? So the curiosity is more of, okay, what did she do with her body? You know, stuff like that. But the harassment comes from guys who would be like, oh, just looking for sex, or more sexual harassment more per se than saying, oh, you sissy. They've passed that terminology with me because they say, okay, well, we know you was going to be a girl from a long time. Now, saying that gives me some type of thing in my head. Say, okay, well, they have identified, okay, this has been me from the time I was in school. So coming back to the Bahamas, for me, it's been kind of good in a way because now I can be a spokesperson for those persons who went through the same thing that I went through, searching in their transitioning. I do have a support group for Bahamian transgenders here in the Bahamas now. So there are some things that are coming in place as far as the LGBTQ community is concerned.
You mentioned something, and it is that the people that come to you, the biggest thing that you said is about the curiosity, and that's something that I've noticed as well. Just even in derogatory remarks and in insults, there's the sense of curiosity and misinformation, not even misinformation, just absolute lack of information. Um, I think that the Bahamas could greatly benefit from being educated and being aware on exactly what is lesbian, what is gay, what is transgender, what are these things and what it means for them, because in the Bahamas we tend to think of, okay, and how does this affect me? And everybody thinks that way. And once people realize that this is not some fad, it's not cool, it's not I'm trying to be different or edgy, it's not the
Natalia, I think you kind of cut out.
I think she's, just to expand on what she was saying, correct. It's not a phase. It's not a fad. It's not something that you go through one day and say, "Oh, I'm a girl." No, being a transgendered woman, a child knows from birth. You know you are transgender. Back then, you didn't understand what it is. Now the information is available to understand that there are transgender children, there are transgender teens, and there are transgender adults. And the thing about it is, in your own category, wherever you put it in life, searching in your path, it's not going to happen overnight. The information didn't happen for me overnight. So you have to do your own searching and your own self-searching to find out what do you identify with or who are you. And that's the path that I was on back in the 90s, trying to figure out, okay, what am I to, who am I? What am I identifying with? And it's not so much sexual orientation, because definitely I was not attracted to sex, the sex part of the lifestyle. My whole thing was in my thinking, everything about me was female. In my existence, my brain, everything, my brain didn't match my body. So I had to bring my body to tune with my brain. So now I'm at a level I'm at a level of completion as far as who I am as an individual. And I think what it is for me now, I have a duty and a responsibility to assist those that are searching on that path that I once was for my GLBT community here in the Bahamas.
I have one more question for you, Alexis. I want to know how you feel about people ask questions or in the way that they're asked. How do you deal with people coming up to you and saying, "Oh, so did you chop it off?" or "Why did you do this?" or things like that? Is it first and foremost offensive to you, or is it first and foremost here's a chance to educate somebody?
Well, first of all, I use it as an educating tool. And the thing about it is, I like when they do it because that's where I can go into the topic. The first thing people want to know is, do you still have XYZ or do you have XYZ? Most of them, most of them, the whole thing, they're worrying about sexual parts and stuff because of their own fantasy desires. The thing about it is, that information that they want to know and turn the more information that they need to. So I use it more as a learning tool, more as a bashing tool. And at the end of the day, I mean, we come to we understand and they say, okay, well, I've never met a person like you. You look normal. You look like a girl. You don't. That's who you are. And knowing me from time, they'll be like, that's who she is. And the thing about it is education and knowledge is power. Now, some people are not going to understand it. Some people just can't fathom it. They just, oh, that's the drag queen. I've never a drag. The thing about it is people don't understand the different terminology and the categories of people. Cross-dresser, drag, transvestite, transgender. They're totally different. Transgender is not transgender orientation has nothing to do with it. It's just that the information is taught so people know because they are children here in the Bahamas that are transgender. And their parents keep them away from society and homeschool them and stuff like that based on the ignorance in our country. They don't want their child to be hurt. They don't want their child to go through the same stuff transgender children. So that's why I say I think it's my duty to educate and I'm using the platform for that.
Now, I'm largely out of touch with the transgender community. Is it? I noticed you said that we have transgender children in the Bahamas. I didn't know this. Are they involved at all, or are their parents involved at all in your organization? Or do you reach out to these persons? Do they reach out to you? Can you give us some more information on what exactly your organization does? And is it an organization that has like a large following? Can you expand on that?
Hey guys, this is Condor. Hey, so it seems like, sorry to butt in, but it seems like people can't. We're live, but it seems like we're having some serious connection issues. So the people can't actually see the broadcast. So I'm just gonna ask you. I'm working on setting up another Hangout to see if that might rectify the situation. I didn't want to do it. That's why it took so long. But give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna end this session. It should still be posted for people to watch later, and then I'll send you a link for the new one. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Sounds good.
Okay.